Here we have AP calculus AB problem. Okay, let's go to the question. The values of functions f and g and their derivatives with respect to x are given in the table at right. Find derivative of 1 over g square of x at x equals to 4. So that is, we have to find the derivative of this stuff at x equals to 4. Okay, now let me take this stuff first. That is d over dx of 1 over this. I'm going to write this g square of x as g of x the whole square. Let me write it. Okay, now d over dx. Okay, there since we have g of x whole square in denominator, if it is moved to the numerator, it will be multiplied by 1. When I move this stuff to numerator, the exponent will change its sign. So already we have positive 2 as exponent for this g of x. When this stuff is moved to the numerator, this positive exponent 2 will become negative 2. So then we get d over dx of g of x whole to the power of negative 2. Okay, now our aim is to find derivative of this stuff. So that's what is meant by this d over dx. That is, we have to find the derivative of this stuff with respect to x. Okay, since we have exponent negative 2 for the complete stuff we have here, we can use the power rule of derivative to get derivative of the exponent negative 2. So power rule means we have to bring this exponent in front of the variable and subtract 1 from the exponent. So when I do so, I'm getting negative 2 times g of x whole to the power of negative 2, negative 1. I just got the exponent in front of the variable and subtracted 1 from the exponent. So far I got derivative only for the exponent negative 2. By chain rule, I have to do further derivative for the base, that is g of x. When I find derivative of this base g of x, it will become g prime of x. Okay, now negative 2 times g of x whole to the power of, when I combine this negative 2 and negative 1, it will become negative 3 times g prime of x. Okay, now since we have a negative exponent over here, when I move this term to denominator, this negative exponent will become positive. So in my next step, I'm getting negative 2 over g of x whole to the power of positive 3 times g prime of x. Okay, now I got the derivative of the given function, that is 1 over g square of x. It's over here. But according to the question, we have to find the derivative of this 1 over g square of x at x equals to 4. That is, in the result of the derivative over here, we have to plug in x equals to 4. That is at x equals to 4. Now let me plug in x equals to 4 in this result. Then I'm getting negative 2 over g of 4 whole cube times g prime of 4. Okay, now we can get the value of g of 4 from the table we have over here. Let me write it, negative 2 over. So here we have g of x. When x equals to 4, the value of g of x is 3. So the 3 is the value of g of 4. So we can plug in 3 for g of 4. Then we get 3 cube times. So g prime of 4. Here we have g prime of x. So we have to g prime of 4 means we have to get the value of g prime of x when x equals to 4. When x equals to 4, the value of g prime of x is negative 4. So we can plug in this negative 4 for this g prime of 4. Let me write it, negative 4. Okay, so negative 2 times negative 4 is positive 8. And the evaluation of this 3 cube is 27. So the value of this stuff at x equals to 4 is 8 over 27.